Hi, 28 male. Always thought I was a decent boyfriend. Not perfect, but attentive. I work in logistics, so I'm hardwired to plan, organize, and execute. My now ex of 3 years operated on chaos and vibes. Usually it was charming, but last week she weaponized it. Her birthday was coming up, and I thought I nailed it. I booked a reservation at a high-end fusion place she'd been obsessing over on Instagram for months. I bought the heavy gold bracelet she'd circled in a catalog as a joke. I ordered the cake. I thought I was safe. 3 days before the big day, she came home, took one look at the flowers on the counter, her favorite lilies, and burst into tears. Not happy tears. Angry, ugly crying. She threw her bag on the floor and screamed that I just didn't get it. She told me she wanted a real surprise, not just dinner and jewelry. She wanted me to look at her and just know what she needed without her spelling it out. She went on a tirade about how I lacked emotional intuition and how I ruined the vibe of her birthday week by being too predictable. She told me she felt suffocated by my structure and needed spontaneity. She manipulated me so hard that by the end of the night, I was apologizing for buying her a $2,000 bracelet. I ended up sleeping on the couch because she couldn't look at me. The next morning, I woke up early to make her coffee, trying to salvage the situation. I walked into the living room and saw her phone on the coffee table. She's usually glued to it, face down and locked, but she must have passed out watching videos because it was unlocked and sitting right there. I'm not usually a snooper, but her comment about me needing to read her mind was eating at me. I thought maybe she'd told her best friend what she actually wanted. I opened her messages and didn't find text or friend. I found a thread pinned at the top with a contact name. That was just a period. I clicked it. It was her ex, the one she swore was toxic, blocked, and dead to her. The texts went back months, but the ones in the last 48 hours, while she was screaming at me for being predictable, made my blood run cold. She was complaining to him that I was a bore and that buying the bracelet was pathetic. She said she just wanted to feel alive again. He replied that his flight landed at 4 p.m. on her birthday and asked if she could get away. She told him not to worry, that she'd start a fight with me because I'm a puppy when I feel guilty. She planned to tell me she needed space for a girls' night, or that she was depressed. She literally texted him, "The surprise is you. It's my gift to myself." She also mentioned that I was paying for the hotel because she was using my emergency car for the Airbnb for the girls. I didn't panic. I froze. Then my logistics brain took over. She wasn't just cheating. She was orchestrating a scenario where I would fund her cheating, apologize for the privilege, and sit at home feeling guilty while she was with him. I took screenshots, sent them to myself, deleted the evidence of the transfer, and put the phone back. She woke up 10 minutes later, acting sweet and apologizing for being harsh. She gave me a hug and said she was just stressed. Then she dropped a line. Maybe for my birthday I just need a night away? Like with the girls? Just a reset? There's this cute Airbnb. I looked her dead in the eye and told her to do whatever she needed to be happy. She kissed my cheek, called me the best, and asked to use my Amex because the girls were tight on cash. I told her to go ahead. I wasn't going to just break up with her. She wanted a surprise? She wanted me to read her mind? I decided right then to give her exactly what she asked for, an unforgettable surprise. Over the next 2 days, the entitlement was staggering. She made me her logistics manager for her affair. She asked me to gas up her car because she didn't want to stop on the way. I did it, and while I was at it, I tucked a tracker deep in the lining of her trunk. I knew where she was going, but I wanted the timeline. She even asked for $500 for drinks and dinner with the girls because she didn't want to keep swiping the card. I transferred the cash and kept the receipts. Every interaction was fuel. She was banking on me being too nice to suspect anything. I did some digging on the guy. He's a musician from out of state with no real job. Here's where it got interesting. I remembered she told me years ago that he was paranoid and hated drama. He only circled back to her because she told him things were complicated or open. He wasn't looking for a confrontation. He was looking for an easy lay. So I decided to invite him to party. See, she thought she was going to an Airbnb. but I called the owner of the place she booked on my card. I explained I was a card holder and suspected fraud. The owner was spooked, so I told him not to cancel immediately, but to double book if for maintenance issues at the last minute, forcing a cancellation on the day of check-in at 4:30 p.m. That would leave her with no place to go, dressed to kill, with her affair partner freshly landed at the airport. I checked the city's hotel availability. There was a huge convention in town, so everything decent was booked solid. She'd have to come home. She'd probably try to sneak him in while I was at work, because I told her I had a late shift to give her space. But I wasn't going to be at work. I called my parents, her sister, who hates the guy, and 3 of our mutual friends. I told them I was throwing a surprise intervention-style birthday party because she'd been feeling disconnected and down lately. I asked everyone to be there at 5 p.m. in a park down the street, so she wouldn't suspect anything. Her parents were actually thrilled I was taking initiative. On the morning of her birthday, she was giddy. She kissed me goodbye, told me not to wait up, and drove off. I watched her go. Around 3 p.m., I got the notification that the Airbnb was canceled and refunded to my card. A little later, I saw via the tracker that she picked him up from the airport. Then, the car started moving aimlessly. She parked in a hotel lot for 20 minutes, frantically looking for a room, but I knew she wouldn't find one. Finally, she texted me, "Hey, babe, change of plans." The Airbnb had a plumbing issue, gross. The girls and I are just going to come back to the house for drinks before we go out. You're still working late, right? Perfect. She was bringing the wolf right into the den because she thought it was empty. I texted back that I was slammed at the warehouse and wouldn't be home until midnight. She replied, "You're a lifesaver. Love you." The audacity to say that while sitting next to him was almost impressive. I set up the living room with balloons, streamers, and a big surprise banner. I connected my laptop to the big TV and prepared a slideshow, not of memories, but the screenshots. By 4:55 p.m., the guests had arrived. Her parents, my parents, her sister, and our friends were hiding behind the kitchen island and sofas. Her dad whispered, asking where she was. I told him she was on her way and bringing a friend. Her mom asked if it was a work friend, and I just smiled. At 5:10 p.m., the front door opened. The room went silent. I stood in the center of the living room, holding the remote. She walked in, looking stunning in a red dress I paid for. Right behind her, carrying a duffel bag, was the guy. He had his hand on the small of her back and was leaning in to kiss her neck. "God, finally," she laughed. "My boyfriend is such a tool. He's at work for hours. We have the whole place to." She looked up and saw me. Then she saw the balloons. Then the lights flicked on, and 20 people jumped up and yelled, "Surprise!" The silence that followed was violent. For a few seconds, nobody moved. The guests were confused, looking from the banner to me, and then to my girlfriend standing there with a strange man holding her waist. Her face went from shock to horror. The guy realized something was wrong immediately and snatched his hand back. "Happy birthday, babe," I said. "I finally listened to you. You wanted a real surprise. You wanted me to read your mind." Her mom stepped out, asking who the guy was. My ex started stammering that he was a friend from yoga. I asked, "Yoga? Is that what we're calling it?" And pressed play on the remote. The TV flickered to life with the first screenshot. "Surprise is you. It's my gift to myself." A collective gasp went through the room. She shrieked at me to turn it off, lunging for the remote, but I stepped back. She called me a psycho for invading her privacy. I clicked to the next slide where she called me a pathetic puppy and bragged about using my money. The guy looked at the screen, then at me, then at her parents. He put the pieces together. He turned to her and said, "Wait, you said you guys broke up? You said he was your roommate who wouldn't move out." "Oops," I said. "Plot twist." She turned on me, snarling that I did this on purpose to humiliate her. Her sister laughed and pointed out that she was literally cheating in front of their parents. My ex started crying tears of rage, screaming that she had needs and that I was boring and suffocating. She tried to tell the guy to just ignore us and leave with her, but he wasn't having it. He dropped his bag and said, "Nah, I'm not doing this. You're crazy, lady. He looked at me, swore he didn't know, and walked out. She screamed after him, calling him a coward, that it was just us and her mortified parents. I told her to get out. She shouted that she lived there and threatened to call the cops and tell them I hit her. The room went dead silent again. Her father stepped forward, furious, asking if she just threatened to falsely accuse me. She pivoted, yelling that I was abusing her financially and tracking her phone illegally. I pulled an envelope from my back pocket. I told her I consulted a lawyer. Since she never signed a lease or paid bills, she was a guest, but she had tenancy rights due to the length of her stay. She smirked, thinking she won. But I continued, here is a formal notice to quit for nuisance and illegal activity, specifically fraud. I held up the bank statements, showing the unauthorized transfers. I also have an audio recording of this entire interaction, capturing your threat to file a false police report. If you stay, I filed charges for credit card fraud and identity theft. If you leave right now, I don't. I looked at her parents and asked them to please take her. Her mom was crying. Her dad looked like he wanted to disappear. He told her to get her things. She wailed that it was her birthday, but I just told her that her birthday was over. She packed a suitcase, smashing things in the bedroom, while we all stood in the living room. When she dragged her bag out, she looked at me with pure venom and said, "You'll never find anyone as hot as me. You're going to die alone, you boring, manipulative incel." I told her, maybe, but I'll die with a positive credit score and loyalty to people who actually matter. She slammed the door, and I offered the stunned guest some cake. The aftermath wasn't entirely clean. She tried to spin the narrative on social media, claiming I was abusive and controlling, leaving out the cheating part. But logistics guys keep receipts. I didn't engage publicly. I just had my lawyer send a cease and desist letter regarding the defamation, attached with the screenshots of her admitting to the fraud. I copied her parents on the email. The post vanished within an hour. She even tried to sue me for emotional distress and illegal eviction in small claims court. I showed up with a binder, the text confirming she had a hotel/Airbnb booked, the notice to quit, and an affidavit from her own father stating she left voluntarily. The judge dismissed her case in under 5 minutes and told her she was wasting the court's time. She didn't get the furniture, and she didn't get the dog. The guy blocked her, apparently not enjoying being ambushed introduced to the parent of a woman he thought was single. It's been 6 months. The silence in my apartment was weird at first, but then I looked at my growing bank account and my schedule that belonged only to me. I realized I hadn't just been a boyfriend. I'd been a caretaker for an adult toddler. I ran into her sister recently, who told me my ex is living in their parents' basement, finding herself, and complaining that men can't handle strong women. I didn't ruin her surprise. I just unwrapped the truth. Best gift I ever gave myself.